Have you ever wondered if traveling after 70 is still a good idea? While exploring new places and experiencing different cultures can be exciting, there are serious risks that many seniors don't consider until they're already facing them. As we age, our bodies and minds go through changes that can make travel more exhausting, unpredictable, and even dangerous. And while some people assume they can keep up the same pace they did when they were younger, the reality is that after 70, travel presents unique challenges that can turn a dream vacation into a stressful, even life-threatening ordeal. In this video, we're going to reveal 5 important reasons why traveling after 70 can be risky, from unexpected health emergencies to hidden financial pitfalls that can drain your savings. Each point will help you understand the challenges seniors face when they travel. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear understanding of why travel at this stage in life requires extra caution and what you can do to stay safe if you still choose to take a trip. Stay with me until the end, because the last reason on our list is one that many seniors never think about, yet it's one of the most common ways people lose money, time, and peace of mind while traveling. And that brings us to the first and perhaps most urgent danger that many seniors overlook when planning a dream trip: the risk of unexpected medical emergencies. For older adults, even those in good health, travel introduces physical and environmental stressors that your body may no longer adapt to as easily as it once did. High altitudes, long flights, unfamiliar climates, disrupted routines. These can all amplify underlying conditions like high blood pressure, heart disease, diabetes, or even arthritis. You may feel stable at home, where your diet is familiar, your daily rhythm predictable, and your doctor just a call away. But when you're 35,000 feet in the air or walking through a hot, crowded street in a foreign country, that stability can vanish in an instant. Take Harold, a 75-year-old retired teacher from Arizona, who planned a 2-week cruise through the Mediterranean with his wife to celebrate their 50th anniversary. He'd been feeling fine for months. His doctor had cleared him for travel after a routine physical. He even packed extra medication, thinking ahead. But 3 days into the trip, after a long day touring ancient ruins in the heat, he began to feel lightheaded and short of breath. That evening, while dining on the ship, he suddenly clutched his chest and collapsed. The ship's onboard clinic had only basic tools: no cardiologist, no advanced imaging, no intensive care unit. They administered oxygen and did what they could, but by the time a helicopter arrived to transport him to the nearest hospital on the mainland, nearly 5 hours had passed. He survived, but just barely. And what was supposed to be a joyous milestone became a traumatic, expensive ordeal they never anticipated. This kind of scenario isn't rare. In fact, a study from the CDC found that among international travelers over the age of 65, cardiovascular events are the leading cause of in-travel mortality, accounting for nearly 50% of deaths abroad. What's more, even less severe health issues like a urinary tract infection, dehydration, or blood sugar fluctuation can escalate quickly in older adults without timely care. And when you're far from your healthcare network, help may be delayed, limited, or simply unaffordable. Many seniors assume their domestic health insurance or Medicare will cover them during international travel, but that's often not the case. Medicare typically does not cover medical expenses incurred outside of the U.S. And even supplemental plans may have gaps when it comes to emergency evacuations, hospital stays, or medications purchased abroad. According to the U.S. Department of State, medical evacuations can cost $25,000 to $100,000 or more, depending on your location and condition. Add to that the complications of language barriers, unfamiliar medical systems, and different standards of care, and what starts as a minor symptom could spiral into a full-blown crisis. And it's not just about treatment, it's also about diagnosis. A chest pain that your cardiologist at home would immediately recognize might be misunderstood in a rural clinic where records aren't available and no one speaks your language. So what can you do to protect yourself? It starts with an honest conversation with your doctor, not just a routine checkup, but a travel-specific assessment. Discuss the climate of your destination, the length of flights, any planned physical activities, and whether your medications need to be adjusted. Ask your physician for a brief medical summary you can carry with you, including your diagnoses, medication, list allergies, and emergency contacts. If you use any medical devices, bring backup supplies and instruction manuals translated if possible. Second, invest in comprehensive travel insurance that specifically covers medical emergencies, hospital stays, and emergency evacuation. Read the fine print. Make sure it includes pre-existing condition coverage if that applies to you, and that it offers 24/7 assistance in English wherever you travel. Third, be proactive with in-flight and travel health habits. Stay hydrated. Dehydration is a major trigger for many health problems during travel. Avoid alcohol and salty foods during flights. Get up and walk regularly on long flights to prevent blood clots. Compression socks can be helpful in reducing circulation issues, especially for those with vascular problems. And finally, listen to your body. If something feels off, fatigue, dizziness, tightness in the chest, don't brush it off as just jet lag. It's better to seek help early than to wait until it becomes an emergency. Traveling after 70 can still be beautiful, meaningful, and inspiring, but only if your health is prioritized with the same care as your itinerary. Because once you're in the air or halfway around the world, you don't want to be learning the hard way that your body needed more preparation than your suitcase. Harold was lucky. Others aren't. And sometimes the most life-changing part of a trip isn't what you saw, but what you survived. The second hidden danger that often creeps up on older travelers is something you can't see, but you can definitely feel: the increased risk of infection. As we age, our immune system becomes slower and less efficient at identifying and fighting off unfamiliar bacteria, viruses, and other harmful invaders. This decline in immune response is known as immunosenescence, and it's a natural part of aging. While your body might be perfectly capable of handling everyday germs in your home environment, stepping into the world of crowded airports, packed airplanes, foreign restaurants, and tourist attractions opens the door to pathogens it has never encountered and may not be prepared to fight. For someone in their 30s or 40s, catching a stomach bug or cold during a trip might mean a day or two of inconvenience. But for someone over 70, that same bug can lead to serious complications like dehydration, pneumonia, or hospitalization. Just ask Margaret, a 74-year-old grandmother from Oregon who flew to Costa Rica with her daughter and grandkids for what was supposed to be a bonding vacation. On the second day after enjoying a fresh fruit salad at a local cafe, she began to experience stomach cramps and nausea. Within 24 hours, she was severely dehydrated and unable to leave the hotel bed. What the family thought was mild food poisoning turned out to be a bacterial infection from water-washed produce, and Margaret spent the rest of the trip hooked up to IV fluids at a private clinic. The cost, over $3,000 out of pocket, and weeks of fatigue after returning home. Unfortunately, her case is far from unique. According to the World Health Organization, travelers' diarrhea affects up to 70% of travelers to developing regions, and older adults are at higher risk of prolonged or severe symptoms due to reduced immune function and slower recovery rates. And it's not just food. Airplanes are notorious for spreading infections. A study from the Journal of Environmental Health Research found that the air inside a plane cabin can hold germs for hours, and hard surfaces like tray tables and seatbelt buckles often carry more bacteria than a household toilet seat. Combine that with dry cabin air, long hours of sitting, limited hand washing, and close quarters with passengers from around the world, and it becomes the perfect environment for viruses to spread. And it doesn't stop there. Hotels, cruise ships, public restrooms, even guided tour buses, all of them expose you to new microbial environments. Add in changes to your sleep schedule, physical fatigue, and the stress of navigating unfamiliar settings, and your immune system is left with fewer resources to protect you. So, how do you stay safe? It starts with preventive care. Before traveling, make sure you're up to date on key vaccinations, not just the routine ones, but those specific to your destination. The CDC recommends vaccines like flu and pneumonia, hepatitis A and B, and sometimes typhoid or yellow fever depending on where you're going. Talk to your doctor or a travel medicine clinic at least a month before departure. During your trip, take hygiene seriously. Wash your hands frequently with soap and water, especially before eating or after touching public surfaces. When soap isn't available, use hand sanitizer with at least 60% alcohol. Consider wearing a mask in crowded places like airports or indoor markets, especially during cold and flu season. It might not be fashionable, but it can save you days or weeks of misery. Be careful with what you eat and drink. Avoid raw foods, especially salads, or unpeeled fruits in areas with questionable sanitation. Stick to bottled water even for brushing your teeth, and skip ice unless you know it's from purified water. Hot, freshly cooked foods are usually safest. And while it's tempting to dive into local cuisine, introduce unfamiliar spices, oils, or ingredients. Slowly, your stomach may not be ready for the sudden change. Pack a small travel pharmacy with essentials like anti-diarrheal medication, electrolyte packets, antacids, and fever reducers. These small preparations can make a huge difference if symptoms strike far from a pharmacy or when language barriers make asking for help difficult. Finally, listen to your body. If you start to feel off, whether it's chills, fatigue, or stomach discomfort, don't ignore it. Rest early, stay hydrated, and seek medical help if symptoms worsen. The goal isn't to be paranoid, it's to be prepared. Because when you're over 70, avoiding infection while traveling isn't just about staying comfortable, it's about staying out of the hospital, avoiding long-term setbacks, and ensuring your trip creates memories you cherish, not complications you regret. Travel exposes you to the beauty and diversity of the world, but it also exposes you to its microbes. Respect both. With a little foresight and a lot of hand sanitizer, you can stay one step ahead and keep the adventure going strong. The third risk, one that many older travelers don't fully anticipate until it's too late, is physical exhaustion and fatigue. Travel may sound exciting on paper, but in practice, it can be far more demanding than most people realize, especially after the age of 70. The early morning flights, long walks through airport terminals, standing in immigration lines, dragging luggage, adjusting to new beds, eating unfamiliar foods, and adapting to different time zones all combine to place tremendous strain on the body. What used to be a minor inconvenience in your 40s or 50s, missing a few hours of sleep or skipping a meal, can now derail your entire trip. Fatigue is not just feeling tired. For older adults, it can affect your immune function, mental clarity, mood coordination, and even increase the risk of falls and accidents. And the recovery from this kind of fatigue isn't just a nap away, it can take days or even weeks to bounce back. Take Richard, a 76-year-old widower from Michigan who booked a 10-day guided tour of Japan. He'd always been curious about the culture, and with the help of his niece, he found a great itinerary that covered 5 cities. But by day 3, Richard could barely keep up. The packed schedule included early breakfasts, long bus rides, walking tours in the afternoon, and cultural shows in the evening. Jet lag had already robbed him of quality sleep, and by the 4th day, he skipped an entire day's activities just to lie in bed completely drained. His blood pressure rose, his appetite dropped, and he spent more time resting in the hotel than exploring the country he had waited years to see. By the time he finally adjusted to the local time and rhythm, it was already time to head home, and it took him nearly a month to feel normal again. Richard's experience is more common than you might think. According to the National Institutes of Health, older adults are more sensitive to circadian rhythm disruptions, and they have a harder time adjusting to jet lag, especially when traveling across multiple time zones. Sleep quality tends to decline with age, and unfamiliar hotel beds, noise, light pollution, or even the stress of being in a new place can further reduce rest. Inadequate sleep not only worsens fatigue, but also impairs memory, decision-making, and immune response, all of which are crucial while navigating foreign environments. Another factor is hydration. Air travel, especially long-haul flights, is known to be dehydrating. Combine that with walking more than usual, sweating in warm climates, drinking less water to avoid bathroom trips, and eating salty or unfamiliar foods, and the body quickly becomes depleted. Even mild dehydration in seniors can lead to headaches, confusion, low energy, and dizziness. Dehydration also makes it harder for your organs to function properly, especially the kidneys and heart. And that's without factoring in digestive issues. New cuisines often mean more fat, oil, spice, or sugar than your body is used to. For seniors with sensitive digestion or chronic conditions, these dietary shifts can cause bloating, nausea, or discomfort, further draining energy levels. Mental fatigue is just as important. Constantly trying to stay alert in unfamiliar environments, remembering directions, converting currency, navigating language barriers, or even just figuring out how to turn on the hotel shower can all contribute to cognitive overload. Seniors often mask these feelings to avoid slowing others down, but the pressure adds up. The good news is, with smart planning, this kind of exhaustion can be greatly reduced. First, slow down your itinerary. Choose 1 or 2 main destinations and spend more time in each rather than racing through many. Plan for buffer days with no scheduled activities so your body can rest, especially after a long flight. Avoid red-eye flights and minimize layovers whenever possible. Don't schedule major outings on the day you arrive. Instead, give your body time to adjust. Next, prioritize rest. Book accommodations that are quiet, comfortable, and ideally located near restaurants or attractions to minimize extra walking. Bring sleep aids like an eye mask, white noise app, or your own pillowcase to make hotel sleep more restful. Take naps during the day if needed. There's no shame in resting when your body asks for it. Stay hydrated consistently. Bring a refillable water bottle and sip regularly, especially while flying or walking in hot weather. Avoid excess alcohol or caffeine, both of which can disrupt sleep and dehydrate the body. Eat light, balanced meals, especially in the first few days, and don't be afraid to bring familiar snacks or supplements to keep your digestion on track. Be honest with your travel companions. Let them know you may need extra breaks or a slower pace. If you're traveling alone, consider joining a senior-friendly tour group that builds in rest time and avoids jam-packed schedules. These groups often understand the unique needs of older adults and provide a safer, more flexible travel experience. Most importantly, listen to your body. If you're feeling unusually tired, dizzy, or overwhelmed, take it as a signal to stop, rest, and regroup. The goal of traveling isn't to cross everything off a list, it's to enjoy the journey and create memories worth cherishing. You're not in your 30s anymore, and that's perfectly okay. Your body has served you well for decades, and it deserves care, patience, and kindness. Because in the end, a meaningful trip isn't measured by how much ground you covered, but by how well you honored the rhythm of your own well-being. The fourth, and perhaps most physically devastating risk for seniors traveling after 70, is the increased danger of falls and serious injuries. While a fall at home might leave you with a bruise or a sore back, a fall while navigating an unfamiliar city or cruise ship can result in broken bones, lengthy hospital stays, and even permanent loss of mobility. As we age, our balance reflexes and bone density naturally decline, making even a minor misstep far more serious than it would be for someone younger. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, 1 out of 4 older adults falls each year, and falls are the leading cause of both fatal and non-fatal injuries among seniors in the United States. Now imagine how that risk multiplies when you're walking on uneven cobblestone streets, climbing narrow staircases in ancient buildings, or trying to keep your balance on a moving boat deck. That's exactly what happened to Lana, a 78-year-old retiree from Florida who had long dreamed of seeing the historic cities of Italy. She was relatively healthy, walked daily in her neighborhood, and felt confident that she was strong enough for the trip. But the reality of international travel hit hard. The stone pathways in Florence were uneven and slick from rain, and the steps leading to her hotel room had no railing. One evening, after a long day of sightseeing, Lana misjudged a small curb and fell forward, breaking her hip. Her husband, shaken and panicked, called for help. The ambulance took 40 minutes to arrive, and the local hospital had limited English-speaking staff and outdated equipment. What followed was a 5-day hospital stay, a rushed flight home, and months of painful rehabilitation. The trip she had anticipated for years became a turning point in her life, and not in the way she hoped. Lana's story is sadly not unique. Many seniors underestimate how different the travel environment is from their daily life. At home, they know where to place their feet, how high the stairs are, and which routes to avoid. On vacation, everything changes. Cruise ship decks can be slippery when wet. Airport escalators can startle with their speed. Tour buses may lack proper handrails. Hotel bathrooms may have tile floors and no grab bars. Add in travel fatigue, jet lag, and dehydration, and the likelihood of a misstep increases dramatically, and the consequences are more than just physical. A bad fall can take a deep emotional toll, causing anxiety, loss of confidence, or even fear of walking without assistance. Studies have shown that seniors who experience a fall while traveling often avoid future travel altogether, which can lead to increased isolation and reduced quality of life. But the good news is that with proper planning and realistic expectations, many of these risks can be minimized. Start with your footwear. One of the simplest yet most effective safeguards is wearing sturdy, non-slip shoes designed for walking. Avoid sandals, heels, or shoes with smooth soles, no matter how fashionable they seem. Supportive footwear can make all the difference on uneven or unfamiliar surfaces. If your balance is even slightly unstable at home, consider using a collapsible walking stick or cane during your trip. They're easy to pack, provide added stability, and can help prevent fatigue during long walks or tours. Choose destinations that prioritize senior accessibility. Look for hotels with elevators, ramps, and safety features like grab bars in bathrooms. Research cities that have smooth sidewalks, reliable public transportation, and fewer stairs or steep hills. If you're booking a guided tour, ask about the walking distance, terrain, and availability of rest stops. Don't assume every senior-friendly trip fits your specific needs. Also, don't try to power through your limits. Listen to your body. If you're tired, take a break. If the terrain looks risky, opt out. There's no shame in skipping a difficult excursion if it means avoiding a life-changing injury. Build flexibility into your travel plans so you can adjust as needed. Carry a small first aid kit that includes bandages, antiseptic wipes, and pain relievers. Being prepared for minor injuries can prevent them from becoming major ones. Keep your mobile phone charged and accessible at all times in case you need to call for help, and make sure you understand how to reach emergency services in the country you're visiting. Lastly, consider purchasing travel insurance that specifically covers injury-related incidents, including hospital stays, surgery, and medical evacuation. If something does go wrong, you'll want the peace of mind that comes with knowing you can get the care you need without facing devastating financial consequences. Travel after 70 can still be joyful, enriching, and memorable, but it requires a new kind of wisdom. You don't have to give up your sense of adventure, but you do have to respect your body's current reality. The risk of a fall is real, but it doesn't have to define your journey. With good preparation, smart choices, and a little humility, you can explore the world safely, one steady step at a time. The fifth and often most overlooked risk for seniors traveling after 70 is unexpected financial loss, a danger that doesn't just empty your wallet. It can also jeopardize your long-term stability, peace of mind, and trust in others. Many older adults plan carefully for the visible costs of travel airfare, hotels, meals, tours, but fail to account for the hidden or sudden expenses that can come with illness, emergencies, or scams. The truth is, when you're in a new environment, you're more vulnerable to costly surprises, and unfortunately, seniors are frequently the target. One of the biggest assumptions seniors make is believing that their regular health insurance will cover them abroad. But in reality, Medicare doesn't provide coverage outside the United States except in very limited circumstances. That means if you experience a medical emergency, a broken leg, chest pain, or even a minor surgery, you could be left facing tens of thousands of dollars in out-of-pocket expenses. According to the U.S. State Department, a medical evacuation alone can cost between $25,000 and $100,000 depending on the location and severity. And that doesn't even include hospital bills, medication, or extended lodging while you recover. Just ask Margaret, a 73-year-old from North Carolina who suffered a mild stroke while on a group tour in South America. The local clinic stabilized her, but her insurance didn't cover international care, and the cost of her treatment, plus a special medical flight back home, ended up draining $9,000 from her retirement savings. She thought she had planned for everything. She didn't realize how expensive a small emergency could become. Beyond health costs, there's also the growing threat of travel scams and fraud, which often target older adults. Seniors are more likely to be trusting, polite, and less familiar with digital red flags, making them ideal prey for scammers who know how to exploit kindness and confusion. One common scam involves fake vacation packages that look legitimate online. George, a 76-year-old retiree, found what he thought was a luxurious all-inclusive resort in the Caribbean through a flashy online ad. He paid the full amount in advance, received a confirmation email, and even had phone contact with someone posing as a travel agent. But when he arrived at the destination, he discovered there was no reservation and no hotel. His money was gone, and he had to scramble for last-minute accommodation that cost nearly double. According to the Federal Trade Commission, travel-related fraud is one of the top scams affecting people over 60, with thousands of complaints filed each year. The most common scams include fake vacation rentals, fraudulent tour guides, taxi overcharges, and even credit card skimming at foreign ATMs. Some scams are subtle, like hidden fees or forged documents, while others are aggressive, such as individuals pretending to be police officers demanding bribes. Seniors may also fall victim to overpriced or unnecessary services simply because they don't know the local system or currency. In countries with high tourist traffic, it's not uncommon for seniors to be overcharged at clinics, restaurants, or markets. Language barriers make it harder to ask questions, read contracts, or dispute charges. All of this adds up not just financially, but emotionally. Falling for a scam or being hit with a surprise medical bill can lead to embarrassment, guilt, or anxiety, and may discourage future travel altogether. The good news is that financial risks are among the easiest to prepare for if you take the right steps. First, verify whether your health insurance includes international coverage. If it doesn't, and most don't purchase travel insurance that covers emergency medical care, hospital stays, evacuation, and trip cancellations. Read the fine print and choose a plan that specifically includes pre-existing conditions if you have any. Second, book through reputable sources only. Use established travel websites, airlines, or tour companies that have clear reviews and refund policies. Be cautious of deals that seem too good to be true, because they probably are. Never wire money or pay with debit cards unless you're absolutely sure of the company's legitimacy. Third, make copies of all your important travel documents, including your passport, itinerary, insurance policy, emergency contacts, and prescriptions. Keep both physical copies in a separate bag and digital copies stored securely online or with a trusted family member. If your wallet is lost or stolen, having backups can help you recover faster. Fourth, protect your financial information while traveling. Use credit cards with fraud protection, avoid accessing bank accounts over public Wi-Fi, and watch for card skimming devices at ATMs. Set up alerts with your bank to track unusual charges and consider using travel-friendly cards that don't charge foreign transaction fees. Fifth, keep a small emergency fund set aside for the trip. Unexpected costs like needing a new hotel, extending your stay due to illness, or replacing lost luggage are far less stressful when you've budgeted for them. Don't carry large amounts of cash, but make sure you have access to extra funds if needed. And finally, stay alert and trust your instincts. If a situation feels off, don't hesitate to step away or ask for help. Scammers often prey on uncertainty, so being informed and prepared is your best defense. Travel after 70 is still possible, fulfilling, and even transformative, but only when you protect yourself financially as carefully as you pack your bags. Because while seeing the world is a wonderful goal, no vacation is worth sacrificing your security, savings, or sense of safety. With awareness, preparation, and a touch of skepticism, you can ensure your money stays where it belongs, fueling experiences you'll treasure, not paying for mistakes you didn't see coming. We've just walked through one of the most serious risks that older adults face when traveling after 70 medical emergencies: infections, exhaustion, falls, and financial pitfalls. These aren't just minor inconveniences. They're the kinds of setbacks that can turn a joyful trip into a life-altering ordeal. But the takeaway isn't fear, it's wisdom. Because the truth is, travel after 70 is still possible. It can be beautiful, enriching, and deeply meaningful, but only if it's done differently than it was at 40 or 50. You've earned the right to explore the world, but you've also earned the right to do it on your own terms, with more care, more planning, and more honesty about what your body and mind need now. So before you pack your bags, take a pause. Ask yourself, is this trip designed for the person I am today? Have I protected my health, my time, and my savings? Am I traveling in a way that brings peace, not pressure? You don't have to give up adventure, you just need to redefine it. Because in the end, the goal isn't just to take another trip, it's to come home whole, healthy, and happy. If this video helped you or someone you love, please take a moment to like, share, and leave a comment below. Your story might help someone else travel safer too. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss our next guide for living wisely, aging confidently, and embracing every season of life with strength. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.